Where is the Holy Grail? The centuries-long search for this elusive Christian relic is far from over. You may have come across the term Holy Grail before. The phrase is often used in contemporary English as a metaphor for something of great significance worth pursuing. For example, curing cancer is the Holy Grail for medical researchers. But what exactly is the Holy Grail? Where did the term come from? What makes the Grail so significant? Let us delve into this ancient legend that has captivated historians and pop culture alike. The origins of the Grail. It is commonly believed that the Holy Grail is the vessel from which Jesus Christ drank at the Last Supper, and that it is the same chalice used to collect Jesus' blood after his crucifixion. It is said to be blessed with healing properties and to allow its owner to connect directly with God. The Grail legend probably has its roots in Celtic and Roman mythology, which is full of stories about magical cauldrons and mystical vessels. Although the exact etymology of the word Grail is not known, it probably derives from the Old French word grail, which means flat cup. Arthurian literature. The term first appears in a 12th century romance by the French poet Chrétien de Troyes. In it, the story is told of the knight Percival, who witnesses a procession at which the Grail appears. Chrétien does not explicitly suggest that the Grail is sacred and of Christian significance. Instead, he referred to the Grail merely as a prop for a sacred ritual. It was not until Robert de Boron wrote his novel Joseph d'Arimathie that the Grail was seen in a Christian context. In this novel, Robert tells the story of Joseph of Arimathea, who used Christ's chalice to catch his blood after it was removed from the cross. Joseph was then locked in a dungeon, where he was visited by Jesus, who brought the Holy Grail. Jesus entrusted Joseph with the Grail for safekeeping and informed him of its powers. Joseph survived in the dungeon without food and water thanks to the miraculous powers of the cup. Grail lore tells the story of Galahad, one of King Arthur's knights, and his quest for the Holy Grail. In it, the Holy Grail is presented as a means of attaining divine ascension, and the Grail would reveal its secrets to the purest of men. In his quest, Galahad is assisted by other knights of King Arthur's Round Table, including Percival. Galahad eventually succeeds in his quest, and the other knights witness his ascension to heaven. The search for the Grail. As a result of the Arthurian legend, the Grail became an object of special interest for Christians and historians. No one is sure if the relic even exists, but numerous attempts have been made to find this mysterious chalice. Nearly 200 chalices discovered in Europe vied for the title of Holy Grail. Most of them were unsuccessful, which led to the search being reignited. One relic associated with the Grail that has survived the test of time is the chalice on display in Valencia Cathedral in Spain. The chalice consists of two parts, the chalice and the holder. The authenticity of the relic cannot be dismissed, as the chalice is made of a special type of agate found only in the areas around Palestine and Egypt. Archaeologists suggest that the chalice dates back to the 1st century BC, which makes chronological sense. Another prominent claim is the chalice of Dodna Araca, which is kept in the Basilica of San Isidoro in Leon, Spain. It is an ornate chalice said to have been taken from Jerusalem to Cairo and finally to Spain, where it was given to a Muslim imam. Archaeologists and historians dispute that the composition techniques and materials used to make it date back to the 11th century. Many began to consider Glastonbury, England, as the resting place of the Grail, as the site is closely associated with King Arthur. 12th century literature suggested the possibility Joseph of Arimathea came to Glastonbury after his release from captivity and, according to legend, brought the Grail with him. The Grail today. Most historians today are quick to reject new claims about the existence of the Grail, and new claims keep coming. For example, the Spanish historian Carlos de Ayala. The Grail legend is a literary invention of the 12th century that has no historical basis. One cannot search for something that does not exist. Nevertheless, this relic of antiquity remains of special interest as a symbol of Christianity and has attracted much attention in the media. The Grail's influence can be felt in modern media in the form of literature, music, paintings, and films. Different authors have altered the narrative countless times with varying degrees of conspiracy. Dan Brown's bestseller, The Da Vinci Code, built on the theory established in the 1982 book Holy Grail. The theory stated that the Grail was not a physical object, but a symbol of Jesus' bloodline, suggesting the possibility that Jesus had a son with Mary Magdalene. This is probably an interpretation of the word sang rail, which means royal blood. In Steven Spielberg's 1989 film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, an adventurer named Indiana Jones is on a quest to find the Grail with his father. Similarly, in the Assassin's Creed games, it is implied that the long-defunct Roman Catholic military order of the Knights Templar is in search of an artifact known as the Holy Grail. The discovery of the original Holy Grail eludes us to this day. There is no way to determine if the Arthurian legends are even credible, and even if we were to establish its existence, we cannot prove that it ever touched the lips of Jesus. It is nice to at least entertain the thought that there is a sacred Christian relic hidden somewhere. It is unlikely that the artifact has magical properties, as the legends claim. If it exists, it is probably just another old rusted cup. Nevertheless, the mystery remains a hot topic among theorists, historians, and in pop culture.